Hey guys, thanks for having me. Thanks Dave for setting all this up and helping me to get here from London. It's just quite a ride. For a start, is anybody working with legacy code here? Is anybody enjoying it? Good, good. Me too. Legacy code is the best code. Yeah, so one slide about me. As you can see, I enjoy legacy code more and more. I love challenges. I love to share my ideas and challenge my ideas. So if you have a question or some contra idea, be open to share it. I write a blog and I'm from Czech Republic. Has anyone been into Prague? Great, great. We have a thing about that. People love to come to Prague and Brno just to celebrate their bachelor's parties. So we have like a lot of UK people coming every month. So I hope you have also Czech people coming here. And I really love open source. So that's why I got into this. This is kind of my my addiction. This is the reason why. That's what I tell my girlfriend, that I cannot be at home all the time because I'm at work. And today I'm gonna be talking about all the projects in PHP. Usually it starts like very easily. You start to build your project from scratch, from let's say a child. You can pick any technologies you want. You would use the newest PHP, newest framework, newest everything. It's pleasure to start on a green grass, right? But the thing is, everything gets updated. It's not today, it's already deprecated, the date. Every year there's a new PHP version. You have to upgrade, you have to check what's wrong, what's new, what got fucked up, what got replaced, and so on. I'm just gonna ask how many people are using PHP 5? And 7? 0? 7.1? 7.2? 7.3? 7.4? No, not yet. Maybe a branch, maybe. Great. So probably you've already experienced upgrading PHP code. But unfortunately, this doesn't happen only with PHP code. We also use frameworks that also get upgraded, also have new features, and sometimes something breaks. So if you are upgrading a code, you have to go through these long descriptions, what has changed, how to do it better, or you are very active, so you read all the Symfony blogs and all the PHP blogs, and you think this is normal, like that's how we do stuff. But it's fine, like to read all the newspapers that PHP and all the frameworks we use provide. And if it's not in the changelog, then it will be Stack Overflow, right? So, and there are plenty of answers. So if you are lost with create function and how to change it, like you can read a lot of results and like explore it a lot. Well, as you can see, this is probably not the way to go. So sometimes to compensate all this trouble doing ourselves, we hire somebody who helps to do it with us or for us. Somebody who's experienced, some consultant who's been, I don't know, taking care about Symfony or Doctrine. And he can help us upgrade the code in a few days, let's say. But the problem is there are not just PHP and Symfony, but there are a lot of other frameworks, layers, patterns, and so on. Good, yeah. And we still think this is normal. Like the more packages you have, the more obligatory you are to upgrade and to take care of everything. Well, I don't think this is okay, but that's how we do it. So, you probably heard this before, that code becomes legacy as soon as it's written, because something I speak nowadays that is like the best practice. In a year, I would be ashamed of such a code. And the problem is the same with knowledge. Like if today we think this framework or this pattern of, I don't know, repository or constructor injection is the best, maybe in a year or two it will be something we will call like stupid, and how would you just implement it? I'm like, static methods are great, right? I mean, like, you can get everything so fast. So if you want to upgrade such a thing, usually the bigger project is, the longer time it takes, right? And this is okay, right? Like if you have a project that has, I don't know, 3 million lines of code, and we want to upgrade it from PHP 5.6 to 7.3, it will take us many, many months. I personally was one of these consultants you saw there. I wasn't so beautiful, and I don't have such perfect pictures, but I was going to companies and I was trying to help them upgrade PHP Doctrine or Symfony, but it was very, very frustrating for me that I was going all these companies and telling them all this stuff the same over and over. So I was thinking, like, how can we get rid of all this? How can we make it faster? How can we make it better? Is anyone know Nete? It's our Czech local framework. Nobody knows. So, but it's very popular in many Czech legacy projects. The problem is it's not very developed for the last 4 or 5 years, but companies have to stick with it because they already use it, and it'll be super expensive to change it. So we had a friend of mine had a project that had approximately this amount of lines. Just to have idea, it was REST application with this amount of routes, like controllers. And could you guess what this is? It's yeah, it's pull request. Yeah. And what does this mean? It's a picture of me. It got smaller? Yeah. It got smaller because we migrated from Nete to Symfony, but we didn't do it as usually. We'd probably do it like manually or one file at a time. But we did it with automated tools. One of these changes, so you can imagine, it was like convert, for example, a response that was statically initiated to some factory that take care of it. Another issue was to move routes from classes to route annotations, as you know from Symfony. And just to have a guess, how do you think, how long this took us? How many weeks, days, years? I don't know. Any number is okay.
Including writing the tool?
Yeah, including writing these rules for this project. A year. 4 days. 14 days. 40. Okay. A year. Something more optimistic. Yeah.
6 months.
6 months. Yeah. And how long do you think it would take to your project to migrate from the framework you don't like to framework you like? I mean, it's complete whatever you prefer, of course.
10 years.
10 years? Uh-huh. Okay, so in the end, it took us like 8 hours to prepare all the migration sets and to apply them. And we were 2, and it's not like 2 person in 80 hours, but each 40. I think like 40 hours of it was basically like talking what should be where and why, what's the old location of the file, what's the new, and basically testing these migration scripts if there are some edge cases, because it's not always perfect. And I think the same application with the same size and same setup would maybe take us like maybe 10 hours, which is like 1 day in 2 person nowadays, because every knowledge that we talked about is basically now in a set that you can run. I don't know if have you heard about Rector? No, so most of them you know. So it's basically it's like open source tool on GitHub, like PHP unit, so you can download it and run it in your local environment. So the goal of all this is to make basically refactoring of huge applications much more effective. So it's not growing exponentially, but it's basically, if you figure out the rules, then you don't care if it's 50,000, 1 million, or 50 million. It takes a lot of time, or not a lot of, but more time to prepare, because you have to be discussed with the team or with the project what should happen how. But once you get these rules sorted out, then it's basically a matter matter of running the local script. So as I said, this doesn't have to be just one framework we did to another, but it can be something you are using now and you want to migrate to something else, or something you have to use for years because nobody is able to rewrite it to something else. Just check the frameworks. How many of you are using Zend? Woo! High five. And Laravel? And Symfony? And something else?
Slim.
Slim, yeah. Slim 2. Are there other frameworks in UK that you like?
Everyone likes Slim.
Yeah. So I think like this is really a matter of creating the rules, and then you can apply them very quickly. So any legacy project can be migrated. It doesn't have to be framework. It could be proprietary framework. It's still just MVC to anything you prefer, whatever it's Slim, Zen, Symfony, or Laravel. So now let's get a little bit technical. Does anybody know PHP Parser? 2 people. PHP Stan, maybe? Or Psalm? Do you use static analyzers? Or coding standard tools? Yeah, so this will be like, for many, a lot of new stuff. PHP Parser is written by Nikita Popov. He's kind of like a superstar in contributing to PHP core. He's doing all the cool stuff, and for I think last 10 years, he's really pushing the PHP forward. So he made a parser exactly for this reason. I asked him like what was the motivation, and he said like basically what Rector is doing just to migrate code from something old to something new in like large scale. And based on these tools is PHP Stan. That's the most popular static analyzer in PHP community that basically checks that if you call some method, for example, this get me something, that it checks that get me something really exists. It checks types and everything. And Psalm is another tool that's based on it. And Rector basically uses PHP Parser and type resolving from PHP Stan. So it's really possible thanks to cooperation of the whole PHP community. These are my friends accidentally, and we are all in Prague. I don't know why. And he's author of PHP Stan, and Honza is helping with the doc parser. So you have a now theoretical idea, and now to show you something a little bit practical, I'll try to do a little demo. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, you can see it. I can't see it. Great. Yes. Nice. Okay. Can you see it in the back, or should I make it bigger? It's good. Okay. If it would be small, just tell me. Okay. This is something legacy. Okay, so as I said, Rector is something you can install in command line. Most required def is like PHP unit, and this is a fresh version from today. I hope it still works. We will see. And there's a small demo with some PHP code, and one with tests with Twig. So I've prepared a few sets for you. Yeah, this is a nice one. So let's start with the first file. Now is the space for questions. So assuming we are running PHP 7.1 or 7.2, do you see any weak spots in these 2 methods? And I don't mean like complete annotations and so on, but something that could cause fatal error, possibly. Take your time.
The top one, if you class in null, it won't count on 7.2.
And what will happen?
You get, I think, you might get a warning or an error.
Okay.
You get an error.
An error.
Maybe. Good.
You get a warning or error on line 20 as well.
On what?
Line 20.
20?
It doesn't like you assigning array properties, something's wrong with your string.
What do you think will happen?
Something bad.
Will it just put the 1 as the first character of a string?
That would be cool.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, so to recap, the first issue was that you cannot do count on nullable or null. So this can be called with null. That might be an error. And here something is string, but then it's array, and PHP understood this until upon some version, and then it started to throw some errors. So imagine like you are doing code review, and there are like 3,000 lines like around this code, and you need to spot this exact one. Because now this was easy because we had a lot of time and we love to look at 3 lines of the code. So I've prepared. Actually, that's also one of my main selector's features. Just a second. I need to load my keyboard. Yep. Main feature is to help people with code reviews, with upgrades, and to keep the code working even if you've upgraded PHP. So basically, as I said, let's create this. Yeah, so you just run binary tool. There's a process command, and you pass directory, file, whatever, and n means dry run, so it really doesn't change anything. So you are sure that it's okay. And set is prepared set that consists of few rules. I will show that to you later. So let's try to run it. See what might happen. So in the first case, previous versions, this was changed to 0 if it was null. So it becomes compatible the same way. If it's null, then it's 0 and then count it. It again works with iterable and countable and so on. And here it correctly changed to array. So this will be not a string, but array of 1. Well, that was easy. So let's try something more fun. If you've used WordPress, you're gonna love this one. Do you see something wrong with this code? I mean, it's correct, but again, from some certain version of PHP, it will throw fatal errors. So you would have to rewrite it. If anyone wants to give it a try, I can like try typing how it should be rewritten. I can give you a badge if you make it work. The problem is, actually, first I tried to rewrite it manually just for fun, and the problem here is that sometimes it's a string in a string, and there are some quotes that are string, and sometimes it's a variable inside string, and then I got a headache. So, but this is exactly the case you will find a lot of answers on Stack Overflow. So there are like 10 duplicated questions, how to do this, create function in PHP 7.2, and each of them just pastes the code, and people answer and just retype it manually. Which is crazy, but yeah, you have to get reputation somehow. Yeah, so this is actually it's the same thing, but running on a different file and level PHP 7.2. We can try running without dry run. Yeah, so if you look at the code, you can see that it was transformed to an anonymous function, which would be the same thing you would do manually, but you don't have to punish your brain for that. So this is actually very easy with PHP Parser because he takes the string and translates it to PHP code. Okay, so this is probably not what you have in your code. So let's try something. Code quality. Yeah, it's my favorite. This is like a favorite for really really experienced senior developers that look in your code all day. So let's start with this one. you have any idea how would you make this? I mean, this code works, yeah, but it's not very readable. So if you have any idea how to make it more readable, shorter, nicer, give it a go.
With the no check at the end?
More time?
With the no check at the end?
No.
The null?
Now?
The null check.
Like this?
Oh, no, I mean, in the if statement, put the null afterwards.
Thank you, share the statements.
I'm not sure I understand. Null check or
I mean, put the null after the type check.
after the type check?
In the if statements, put the null after my friend's meal.
My print meal.
Just means switch the operands in the conditions.
Switch the conditions.
Switch the operands in the conditions. As in, put the null second in the condition in the if statement.
I see. So you mean like this? Yeah. Okay. Some other ideas? Huh? Yeah. And how would you use it?
Return this my meal, question mark, this my friend's meal,
Uh-huh.
question mark,
Like this? Yeah. Okay. Do you agree?
Would that be the last?
The other two can be null.
Like this? Will it work? Okay. Nice. Okay. And this one? You can correct typo. Yeah, good one. Thank you.
Get rid of both bangs in the if statement.
Get rid of what?
Both bangs, both exploration.
Uh-huh. Like this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's merely string.
Is meal string? I don't know. Might be.
Remove the unused brackets from the broken if statement.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
You could just turn it into a ternary.
Ooh.
Ternary. Might be. But is ternary strict or weak?
I don't know.
Ah, me neither.
Default value? Default argument, like grade first.
Like this? No? Okay. I don't know.
You can lose the assignment of meal in line 30. Just return string.
Yeah, like this? Mm-hmm.
Instead of return type of string, return type in as well string.
I don't know. Might be. Yeah? By the way, do you do this in your work? Because this is fun. Like, let's meet 40 people and look. Hey, we have a problem. Like, we have the 5 lines and we need to improve them. yeah, that's great. Okay. So I think like a lot of steps were correct. It just took us a long time, and I would not pay for it. But if you convince your boss, that would be great. So let's give it back. Yeah. So again, this is something. The thing that happened now, you were like trying to optimize some algorithm based on some variables. Whether it was like, oh, if null is this, then this, so I can use this. So that's basically what Rector does. You put all these thoughts into rules, and then you can put it into set. Here it is the code quality set. Yeah, this one. And you just run it, and it will do the same thing, but it will do it for you, and you don't have to really much think about it. You just check it if it's correct and if you want to improve it in any other way. So when was the file? Early written. Yeah. So it was this file. Let's look at it. Yeah, so something happened. Yeah, as you said, like here actually it would have to be strict, and you can omit this, and yeah, you can shorten this. Again, imagine there's like 3,000 lines around it, so this is a real time saver. By the way, just quick question: do you want more of these examples, or do you want to see something else? Because some people enjoy it, and sometimes they don't. So just look at it if you want to try to optimize this, or we should skip this one because. You want to try it? Okay, so now this one. Well, it's possible there's nothing, so I just don't remember on intention. Because in these two, is there something?
On the line, on the is course 4, you can just return a boolean on the count.
Uh-huh. Like return boolean count visitor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Line 10, you can use the double question mark, the no color.
Uh-huh. Like 10, okay. Mm-hmm. What about this one?
Return in array. It's an array function.
Mm-hmm. In array, okay. I'll just put it into brackets so we know the previous code. So return in array. Item in items. Name in items. Thank you. I would fuck it up. Okay. Is this correct?
You need a true.
It's true, it's correct. Okay. Okay. And could you tell why? Because I didn't know for a long time why there's some third parameter.
Because you're using the triple equals, it's a strict comparison.
Uh-huh.
Comparison.
So, and if it's not there, then what would happen differently in this code? I mean, what would have to be so the result is this. What would I have to change in this code?
Equals.
Equals. So like this? Yeah. Okay. So I just put it there. Okay, and I think the last one from this section. This is not in array, just I'll save you some time. I think it's not in here. I'm not sure.
Use array has keys, or array key exists.
Array key exists. Yeah.
I don't know the order of parameters, so all new functions. Is it the array first?
Control P.
What?
Just control P first.
Control P. Oh, here you mean?
Okay, so
Current
current function, comma, alt new functions.
Like this? Or should something else happen?
No, you need to
Return. Yeah.
no, because that will return a boolean, and it's returning the value if the key does exist.
Yeah.
Are you looking for array search?
Array search.
You know Ask again.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not null-based, it's ternary.
Yeah.
So ternary or?
You want to turn null. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's question mark.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Current function.
Alt new function is.
New.
So it would be
One at a time, guys.
functions, square brackets.
Square brackets.
Give you all the keys, you don't get the value. Yeah, you do. It's a control function. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, so alt new function square brackets current function.
Alt the new functions, square bracket current function. Uh-huh. Is this more readable for you?
I think I'll use an if statement.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it can be. Uh-huh. So if it's there, then return the, yeah. Yeah, why not? That's the beauty. Like, if you want to make the rule do this, then it will do this. Now it will just do what I thought was the best at the time. Let's see what that was. So now again we run rectal with this code quality, and put this. What was the file earlier returned? No, the other one. Complicated loops. Beautiful name. Here you can again see like the diff, and yeah, here you can see it probably broke the code. So thanks for that. I have to fix it. And here, yeah, the boolean, and yeah, here is in arrays with strict type true. And here's the list of rules that were applied. I will show that maybe later or in the workshop. So now something more interesting. Would you like to see upgrade PHP code or Twig right now? Upgrade PHP, okay. So I'll make it a little bit quicker now because time is running out. So PHP Code Upgrade. No, it's type declaration, sorry. So you probably use types and doc types, and sometimes there's only doc type and missing the PHP type. Sometimes there are type properties because you use PHP 7.4 or not yet, but you want to. So let's try run it on the rule. And this is something you might know from PHP coding standard tools, that it will autocomplete void. But this is just a little bit smarter because it really checks there are no returns. It doesn't depend on the doc. And it can autocomplete these if it's not autocompletable, which is not, because it can be two values. And yeah, something actually that the PHP Stan will warn you about, that some anonymous functions can have return type, so you better add them. Yeah, again void, some other types. This is really useful, like if you want to have strictly typed code, but you don't have the time to do it manually. So you will run the set type declarations and fix the edge cases.
So a quick question about that. What happens if it can't work it out? So just leave it how it was?
Yeah, there are actually few levels how to detect a type. Let's say here it's clear because it's based on PHP and it cannot be anything else if it's not your function. And if it's string, let's say like this, then it might assume a string. So if you would return the value itself, for example, then it's just like weak type because you are not sure about it. So it would autocomplete this line. Yeah, so, and there are like 7 levels, or I think 8. If this is in the parameter, then it's strict because it's in PHP and so on. And if it doesn't know, then it's up to you.
It doesn't completely trust doc types.
What?
It doesn't completely trust the doc block.
Trust the block?
The doc block.
Yeah, if you are sure about it, then it will complete this type. But if it isn't sure, it complete at least the doc block, so you can work at it, at least in some way. So now we have a Twig, and then 2 more. Is anybody using Twig 1? Not anymore? Twig 2? Yeah. Well, there are some changes in namespaces which are kind of annoying because they are not like everything with underscore is replaced with slash, but sometimes there's extra words, sometimes there's word missing, and so on. And I have here some very nice extension. it will just filter something by key. I think there are some items and a key. And I need to find out if the languages are in some set. And I think I wrote some tests just to be sure it works. So let's try if it works. Yeah. So this is just a test that we create the extension and call it. It's very simple. So let's try the rule and get rid of all these. As you can see, it's deprecated, but you don't know how it's deprecated, so you have to figure out on your own, which is really funny. And for that reason, there is a set that's called twig underscore to namespace. So let's see what would happen if we try dry run. Yeah, as you can see, it will take care of the namespaces and also the blocks. So we run test before, then we run rector of the code, and then I will pray it will still work. Yeah, as you can see, something changed here. So let's run tests again. And it still works, so it's good. Yeah, just to show you how complex this is, I will open the set. There are actually some class renames, just a few of them. And then the rest is like simple. Yeah, so you can try this at home. And 2 more to go. If you're using PHP Unit, are you using PHP Unit? Good, good. Are you using something else to test? No? Okay. PHP is really funny too. But the problem is it also upgrades. So there are also some deprecations. For example, yeah, this was deprecated in some version. I'm not sure which one now, maybe 7. And sometimes it throws errors, sometimes it's not deprecated yet. But we can get rid of this too. So yeah, so let's try running the set. Shit. sorry. So this is broken. Yeah, but just some part of it. But it's not related to the change. So the exception is basically changed here, which is the new type of it. Sometimes there's this set expect and some other changes. So it's better to have this covered by automatic tool than you have to find it yourself. And last thing I want to show you is PHP 7.4. Do you plan to use type properties? Yeah, great. So some people suggest that we don't need constructor anymore, that we can use type properties directly. So I think there's going to be really funny discussion in community about this. Back to the static. Okay, so I have a file with regular, I think. Yeah, I broke syntax somewhere. Yeah, so nothing changed, great. The rector works the way that it detects your PHP version. So if you, for example, use PHP 7.0, it will not autocomplete void because it's not there yet. So the same thing is with, because my PHP version is 7.3 still, so it will not autocomplete the properties, but I can, if I want to try it for some reason, I can tell the rector, hey, I'm using PHP 7.4. So be open to changes that will happen in PHP 7.4. And in PHP 7.4, the type properties will be quite fun to convert because sometimes you might have wrong drag block or something that's not compatible. So let's try that. Yeah, and as you can see, like it completed the types that are allowed in this scenario. So you can actually emulate features into the future versions of PHP if you want. So that's all for the demo. Just one little bug, okay. And Just a few more slides. Just to show you, this is not just a funny thing to do when you are bored at work and you have 4 lines code to analyze, but we trying to use this too at scale. For example, I'm working on a project when there had so many files with missing var annotations of a property. So often you didn't know when you called this some property what the property is, and you had to Google it in the ID, and it was kind of frustrating. So I set up a coding standard tool that enforced this over each property. And as I explained Dave, there were like 7 or 8 layers that detected these properties from setters, getters, from constructor, from assigning variables, and so on. And in the end, it completed, I think, 3,000 of them. Yeah, under a few minutes. This is real time. It's not. I really write that slow. And when we check coding standard again, we see that yeah, it's passed. So this is what Rector is useful for, not just to like play with 2 lines of the code, but apply it on the big problems that you have. So now Rector has a growing community. Actually, thanks to Hacktoberfest, the podcasts are rising. If you don't know about Hacktoberfest, it's like event organized by DigitalOcean and GitHub maybe, and they are giving T-shirts if you are able to send 4 pull requests a month to some project and it gets accepted. So if you know about it, don't know about it, try it. You'll have a very nice T-shirt. And I'm doing this like part-time freelancing from my own time and money. So if you like this project, if you use it at work, please subscribe to Patreon. We are trying to promote it as much as possible. Actually, this is the number right before this talk. So maybe tonight we're going to break first 100,000. It should be great. And I think this is also an invitation to the future, because with tool like this, we can get rid of these fights in PHP community, like what should be changed and if we should have PHP ++ or -, because every change can be, or almost any change in PHP code can be put into set, that you could basically upgrade PHP, run the set, and be set. So if you will have some problem, for example, active directory, yeah, to entity or repository, this will be very, very possible. I think also there will come a lot of companies that will focus solely on upgrades, because there are a lot of like deprecated code, and with tooling like this, it should be possible. You can also put this into CI, so you don't have to check it manually. Everything I showed you today can be reported on your CI. Yeah, and the PHP code itself would be much more faster developed. But really, it's up to you what you want to make of it. Okay, thank you. And if you have questions, I'm here. Yeah. Yes?
You were saying earlier on in slides how much effort is required to adapt the code and compare it against lines of code.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Rex was brilliant, but is then the shift from how many lines of code to how many different styles of code that would be a slight change in refactoring. So if you had one person writing that many lines all in the same style,
Mm-hmm.
it would take you, say, as you say, your 80 hours to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you had 10 different people writing 10 different styles,
Yeah.
then trying to work out your different, that's where you're shifting.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So your question is, if there be like 10 million lines of code, you're afraid there will be like much more different approaches to, for example, get a service?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what determines how long it's going to take you with this tool.
Yeah, it was slightly rising because I already experienced this, because sometimes you can get service via constructor, via static container, via setter, via singleton, but still you have like maybe 5 or 6 ways to get a service. So if you have a project and you already know that you have 6 ways to get something, and in the end you want to have, let's say, constructor injection, then you just say, detect all these 6 cases, and if you match them, just create a constructor injection.
So somewhere making sure for some future migrations, making sure you're more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. All right.
T-shirt.
T-shirt. Do you want my T-shirt? That's, that's all I have today. Okay, thank you guys.